I stand before you today to deliver a truth that will set you free. There are ties that bind, but not all ties are meant to last. There are people in your life, even those with familiar faces, who are not sent to bless you but to break you. You must open your eyes, sharpen your spirit, and discern who is for you and who is against you. Respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship. When someone consistently disrespects you, it is a clear indication that they do not value your presence, your thoughts, or your well-being. Disrespect is not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it is subtle, hidden beneath sarcasm, dismissive remarks, or constant interruptions when you speak. It can appear in the way they ignore your requests, belittle your choices, or undermine your authority in your own life. Regardless of how it manifests, persistent disrespect erodes your self-worth and creates an environment where you are constantly second-guessing yourself. Disrespectful individuals often feel entitled to treat others poorly without consequences. They may disregard your opinions in conversations, talk over you, or make decisions that affect you without consulting you. If you express disagreement, they might mock you or downplay your concerns, making you feel like your voice does not matter. Over time, this treatment conditions you to remain silent, to accept their behavior, and to question your own right to be heard. This is not a minor issue. It is a deeply damaging pattern that can strip away your confidence and autonomy. In many cases, those who habitually disrespect others do so because they see kindness as weakness. They take advantage of your patience, assuming that because you do not retaliate, they can continue their behavior without repercussions. They may offer occasional apologies or justifications for their actions, but if their behavior remains unchanged, their words are empty. A person who truly values you will take steps to correct their behavior when they realize they have hurt you. Someone who refuses to acknowledge their disrespect is showing you exactly how little they regard you. What makes this situation even more dangerous is that prolonged exposure to disrespect can alter your perception of what is normal. You might start accepting behavior that once felt unacceptable. You might make excuses for them, convincing yourself that this is just how they are, or that maybe you are overreacting. The longer you stay in such an environment, the harder it becomes to recognize the damage it is doing to you. Disrespect is not something to tolerate. It is a warning sign that something is fundamentally wrong in the relationship. The painful truth is that not everyone who shares your blood, your history, or your space deserves a place in your life. If someone constantly disrespects you, they are making it clear that they do not value you. You do not have to stay in a relationship, whether familial or otherwise, where you are not treated with basic human decency. Walking away does not mean you are weak. It means you have recognized your worth. Letting go of toxic ties is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of self-preservation. Manipulation is one of the most toxic behaviors a person can exhibit, and it often comes disguised as care, concern, or even love. When someone repeatedly uses guilt and emotional blackmail to control your decisions, it is not because they want what is best for you. It is because they want what benefits them. Manipulative individuals know exactly how to twist your emotions, making you feel responsible for their happiness, their struggles, and even their failures. They do not seek fairness in the relationship, they seek control. The more you give in to their tactics, the more power they gain over you. One of the most common forms of manipulation is guilt tripping. This occurs when someone makes you feel selfish or ungrateful for setting boundaries, prioritizing your well-being, or making decisions that do not align with their desires. They may say things like, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me?" Or, "If you really cared about me, you wouldn't act this way." These statements are not genuine expressions of hurt. They are designed to make you feel obligated to comply with their wishes. Over time, this creates a pattern where you begin to sacrifice your own needs just to avoid feeling guilty. Manipulative people are experts at playing the victim. No matter what happens, they will twist the situation to make it seem as if they are the ones who have been wronged. Even when they are clearly in the wrong, they will find a way to blame you. They will cry, exaggerate their suffering, or bring up unrelated past events to make you feel like you are the cause of their distress. They do not want resolution. They want to shift the burden onto you. The more you try to defend yourself, the more they will manipulate the situation to make you feel like the villain. Another dangerous tactic they use is making you doubt your own judgment. This is often referred to as gaslighting, a form of psychological manipulation where they make you question your own reality. They might deny saying things you clearly remember, insist that you are too sensitive or overreacting, or convince you that your perception of events is wrong. Over time, this can cause you to lose trust in your own instincts, making you even more dependent on them for validation. Once they have you in this vulnerable state, they can control you even more easily. The effects of emotional manipulation and guilt-tripping can be devastating. It can leave you feeling drained, anxious, and constantly walking on eggshells to avoid upsetting them. You may find yourself over-explaining your actions, apologizing when you have done nothing wrong, or feeling an overwhelming sense of duty to please them at your own expense. No healthy relationship should make you feel trapped, guilty, or afraid to make your own choices. Love and respect should be given freely, not extracted through manipulation and fear. If someone in your life consistently manipulates and guilt-trips you, it is a clear sign that they do not respect your autonomy, no matter who they are, whether a family member, a friend, or a partner. This behavior is toxic and destructive. You do not owe anyone your peace of mind, your freedom, or your happiness. The moment you recognize manipulation for what it is, you take back your power. Walking away from those who emotionally blackmail you is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of self-preservation. A healthy relationship, whether it is with a friend, family member, or partner, is built on mutual effort, care, and support. When someone constantly takes from you your time, your energy, your kindness without ever giving back, the relationship becomes a burden rather than a source of strength. These individuals are emotional parasites, feeding off your generosity while offering nothing in return. No matter how much you do for them, it is never enough. They always need more, always expect more, and always take more, leaving you emotionally, mentally, and even physically drained. One of the clearest signs of a one-sided relationship is that you are always the one making the effort. You initiate the conversations, you check in on them, you support them when they are struggling, but when the roles are reversed, they are nowhere to be found. They rarely ask how you are doing, and if they do, it is often out of obligation rather than genuine concern. You can pour your heart out to them, but they will either brush it off or quickly shift the focus back to themselves. Over time, you start to feel invisible, as if your needs, feelings, and struggles do not matter. These people have an endless list of wants and demands, but they do not reciprocate in any meaningful way. They expect you to be there whenever they call, but if you ever need them, they suddenly become too busy, too distracted, or completely uninterested. They rely on your emotional support when they are struggling, but when you are the one who needs a shoulder to lean on, they either disappear or make you feel like you are being a burden. Their convenience is their priority, while your well-being is an afterthought. What makes this situation even more harmful is the way they justify their selfishness. They may use excuses like, "I'm just going through a lot right now," or, "You know how I am, I don't really express emotions," as if their circumstances or personality exempt them from giving back. While everyone goes through difficult times, a person who truly values you will still make an effort, even in small ways, to show that they care. If someone is always taking from you and never giving back, it is not because they are incapable, it is because they do not value you enough to try. One-sided relationships often leave you feeling exhausted and unappreciated. The constant giving with no return takes a toll on your emotional health. You may start to feel drained every time you interact with them, as if their presence alone is sucking the life out of you. Instead of feeling uplifted after spending time with them, you feel weighed down, depleted, and emotionally spent. This is a sign that the relationship is not just unhealthy, it is toxic. Over time, being in a one-sided relationship can also damage your self-esteem. You begin to wonder if you are the problem, if you are asking for too much, or if you are simply not worthy of being cared for in the same way you care for others. You may convince yourself that if you just give a little more, be a little more patient, or try a little harder, they will eventually reciprocate. But the painful truth is, they won't. If they wanted to give back, they would have already done so. Love, respect, and support are not things that should be begged for, they should be freely given. The hardest part about walking away from one-sided relationships is the guilt that comes with it. You may feel bad for leaving them behind, especially if they have convinced you that they need you. But ask yourself, what about your needs? What about your happiness? A relationship should not be a constant cycle of giving without receiving. You deserve people in your life who pour into you just as much as you pour into them. At some point you must make the choice to prioritize yourself. If someone is draining you without giving anything in return, you have every right to walk away. You are not abandoning them, you are saving yourself. Letting go of one-sided relationships is not an act of cruelty, but an act of self-respect. You deserve to be surrounded by people who see your worth, appreciate your efforts, and give as much as they take. Growth is an essential part of life. Every person is meant to evolve, learn, and strive for something greater. Whether it is personal development, career advancement, emotional healing, or financial success, the journey of self-improvement is one that should be encouraged by those around you. However, there are some people who will do everything in their power to hold you back. They are not interested in seeing you rise. Instead, they want to keep you at a level where they feel comfortable, where they can control you, or where they do not have to face their own shortcomings. These individuals are not a support system. They are an anchor, dragging you down while pretending to care. One of the most common ways people sabotage your growth is by planting seeds of doubt in your mind. When you share your dreams or aspirations, they respond with negativity, skepticism, or outright discouragement. They might say things like, "Are you sure you can handle that?" Or, "That seems too risky, maybe you should stick to what you know." They present their discouragement as concern, but in reality they are trying to keep you small. The more you listen to them, the more you begin to second-guess yourself, and before long their words become your internal voice, stopping you before you even start. These individuals often mock or belittle your ambitions, making you feel as if your goals are unrealistic or unachievable. Instead of supporting your dreams, they minimize them. They may laugh when you express a desire to pursue something greater, call your aspirations childish, or compare you to others who have failed. This behavior is meant to make you feel foolish for wanting more, convincing you that it is better to stay where you are rather than risk failure. But the truth is, those who genuinely care about you will never make you feel small for dreaming big. Sabotagers are not always direct in their approach. Sometimes their discouragement comes in the form of distractions, temptations, or unnecessary drama. They may pull you into situations that drain your time and energy, keeping you too exhausted to focus on your personal development. They may constantly invite you into meaningless conflicts, unnecessary social outings, or destructive habits that take you away from your goals. Before you realize it, months or even years have passed and you are still in the same place because they have successfully diverted your attention from what truly matters. Another way they sabotage your growth is by making you feel guilty for wanting more. They may accuse you of changing or acting better than them when you try to improve your life. They frame your self-improvement as a betrayal, as if your desire to grow is an insult to them. This tactic is especially common among family members or long-term friends who fear being left behind. They do not want you to move forward because it forces them to confront the fact that they are not growing themselves. Instead of working on their own lives, they would rather keep you stuck at their level. In some cases, these individuals actively interfere with your progress. They may sabotage job opportunities, discourage you from taking risks, or create problems in your personal life that make it harder for you to succeed. If you are trying to save money, they will pressure you to spend recklessly. If you are pursuing education, they will mock your efforts or create distractions. If you are working on your health, they will tempt you with unhealthy choices. Their actions are not accidental, they are deliberate attempts to keep you from becoming the best version of yourself. The most dangerous thing about these people is that they often disguise themselves as loved ones who just want what's best for you. They may even claim they are being realistic, that they are trying to protect you from failure, or that they are only offering advice. But true support does not come in the form of tearing someone down. Someone who genuinely cares about you will push you toward growth, not hold you back out of their own insecurities. Over time, staying around people who sabotage your growth can have lasting consequences. You may begin to internalize their negativity, convincing yourself that you are not capable of achieving more. Your confidence may diminish and your motivation may disappear. You may even stop dreaming altogether, settling for a life that is far beneath your potential simply because you have been conditioned to believe that you are not meant for greater things. This is how people become trapped, by surrounding themselves with those who do not want them to break free. Walking away from those who hinder your growth is not an act of selfishness, it is a necessity. You do not owe anyone your stagnation. You do not have to dim your light just because it makes others uncomfortable. The right people in your life will celebrate your progress, support your dreams, and encourage you to reach higher. Those who try to keep you small are not your allies. They are obstacles, and obstacles are meant to be removed. Your growth is your responsibility and you have every right to protect it. Do not waste your potential trying to please people who do not want to see you succeed. Choose to surround yourself with those who inspire, uplift, and challenge you to become the best version of yourself. The moment you let go of those who sabotage your progress, you will finally begin to move forward.